Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Beliefcast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
We are back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester, the host of the Beliefcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we are going to have another amazing guest as they just keep coming week after week, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all of you guys for tuning in. So today on the Beliefcast, I'm honored to welcome Rob Morris. He's a former NFL linebacker, Super Bowl champion, and a resilience explorer. Rob's journey is one of triumph, adversity, and transformation. From being a first-round draft pick of the Indianapolis Colts to starting in the Super Bowl, he built a career marked by grit, perseverance, and excellence. He overcame injuries and personal loss, earning the Ed Block Courage Award along the way. At BYU, Rob was an All-American Conference Defensive Player of the Year and later induced into the BYU Sports Hall of Fame. But his story doesn't stop on the field. Today, Rob uses his experience to inspire others, blending performance principles with mental and emotional resilience. As a speaker, coach, and father of two daughters, he continues to lead with strength and heart, helping individuals and organizations rise to their potential. He's all about resilience, and man, I'll tell you, we are lucky to have Rob today. Rob, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I feel super confident after hearing that as well. I need to get that and just read it to myself.
It's like a declaration statement, right? I'm boom.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Rob, and I know you hear this a lot and you maybe sometimes roll your eyes, but you know, I was a huge fan of yours watching you play football at BYU because of your grit and your determination and how hard you worked. And when I told some of my friends who are big BYU fans that you were coming on today, they're like, first thing they said, "Oh, that dude was one tough mother."
The glory days. Right?
The glory days, you know.
It's funny because I grew up watching these old school NFL crunch course tapes.
Yeah.
Dick Butkus and all the old school guys, and that's how I was kind of raised. So I try to carry that, I think, into my career at BYU.
Well, I've been blessed to get to know you even better before this podcast. We've gone to lunch a few times and we've kind of bounced some ideas off of each other. We've shared our struggles with each other. And I just want you to know how grateful I am for that you have been willing to share with me and allowing me to share with you. Yeah. I just want you to know that means a lot to me.
Thank you. I feel the same way. You were there for me in some tough times, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, for those who may not know you, why don't we start off? Tell us where you grew up and maybe a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, I grew up in Nampa, Idaho. I'm the middle child of 5 kids. My dad was this tough Vietnam vet type and loved football and coached us all the time. And my mom was, she was just the sweet all-American mom, and she was a warrior. She put up with a lot, I think, with us kids. But, my life, Todd, was really sort of revolved around football from as long as I could remember. I think I won't indict anyone, but I think one of my parents, my father, may have snuck me onto the 5th grade team and maybe fudged my age. I think I was a second grader.
Really?
And I was big enough that I was still over the weight limit. I still couldn't be a running back. I was still a lineman even at that age.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow,
I don't think I've grown
kid.
since about 2nd grade.
You're the same size now.
6'2", 230 in 2nd grade. But, and so, it was just football and sports and wrestling and basketball. And that's sort of what we did. And it became a big part of my story because it became an identity. And when that went away, things were tough. But, I had your standard issue, small town childhood, I think.
Yeah. So obviously, sports was right out the gate for you, it sounds like. And, we can learn so many amazing things from sports, not just playing, but the life lessons that you can learn there. As you think back of your childhood and playing football, and having a dad who sounds like he was pushing you in that direction and, and for good reason, right? And what were some of the big lessons you feel like you've learned from that?
It's interesting because I think I learned more retroactively looking back, and I'm applying them in my life now. But then I think the big thing was, and I don't know if it was always a positive thing as a kid, but it was just sort of this immersion in the sport. I mean, it was kind of an obsession for me, which can get you to great heights and get you a long way.
Yeah.
It can also be a detriment when that becomes sort of who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, excuse me. That was a big thing. Just commitment and work hard. You know, my dad was big on, you know, we hit all the off season workouts. We don't miss those. We do the camps and he was very supportive of us.
Yeah.
You know, almost to a point where we were kind of going crazy, but in the end, you know, it was positive.
Yeah. You know, and I don't want to leave your mom out of this.
Yeah.
What were some lessons that you learned from mom? I mean, granted, she's, you know, the nice, kind, you know, at-home mom helping you guys. What's some of the lessons you learned from her?
You know, I think I appreciate my mom more and more as I get older, and we're very close. And she was the ultimate sort of endure and be resilient type of person. You know, I don't think that it was easy for her, you know, throughout her marriage and raising all of us ravenous boys, you know, 4 boys and a girl. And,
oh man.
And so, you know, she lost her dad at a younger age, you know, and that's who I'm named after, my grandfather. I never got to meet him, but I think she went through a lot, and I think that she just was a trooper. She's not a complainer, even to this day. She'll encounter some physical thing, and she'll just deal with it, and she's just there. She shows up. So I don't know that I could ask for anything more for a mom.
I want to say something about that. I'm glad you said that. You know, here she is. She deals with something really difficult. You said she doesn't complain. She just kind of like, hey, I'll deal with this the best that I can. Positive attitude. What do you think about this? I mean, to me, that's what greatness is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, love to hear your thoughts on that.
I didn't always know that. And like I said, I'm learning it now the more I know my mom and the more we become close and talk, the more I realize how much she sacrificed of her own life to help make me great. Yeah. And I think that is the ultimate greatness. When you give up some of yourself to help give that to somebody else. Yeah. I think she probably had a lot more things in life that she would have liked to do, but that's when you have 5 kids, she sort of gave up a lot of things for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, so it sounds like you had a good kind of counterbalance with your mom and dad, you know, right?
Yeah, it was unique.
Yeah.
It was unique. You know, me and my dad have a better relationship now, but it was tough. He was a tough guy, and you know, we may get into this later. I just got back from this 5-day long program with these special operators, Green Berets and Navy SEALs, and I don't think I understood what he went through in Vietnam, and even just being with those guys a week, it's eye-opening. And I think he did the best he could, and he didn't have any support then. And so, but what my dad was he was a provider. He was an amazing provider, and he was there, and he pushed us, and he made sure we had a ton of opportunities. So
love that.
It's been good to build a relationship with him later in my life.
Very cool. Shout out to your mom and dad.
Yeah, right.
That's so cool. Thanks for sharing that.
I probably should have given that shout out many more times. So.
Well, and I think you're right, Rob. I think we're all guilty of, we don't really learn the lesson until later, and we look back and go, oh yeah, man, I learned, I got this out of that. You know, my mom taught me this, and I realize I'm using that now. And so, but that's why I love asking those questions, because I think, you know, we can all look back and go, man, I'm so grateful for my mom and dad, even if, you know, all the unhealthiness at times, and sometimes it's dysfunctional, right? My family's dysfunctional. We're all dysfunctional, you know, but at the end of the day, we're all doing our best. Like you said, we're trying to get through whatever we're dealing with personally. And we're just trying to, you know, make everyone go along with us and lifting them up along the way.
Yeah. I heard somebody say the other day, we're all going through life for the very first time. No matter what your life experience is, you're going through this day for the very first time. This everything's new. The context changes, the variables change, and that hit me. And I think that, you know, hopefully that'll help me be a little more empathetic, right? And hopefully it'll help people be empathetic toward me when I have my foibles. So.
For sure. Well, as a young kid, you're playing football. Did you, at that age, have dreams or ever thought you'd play in college or NFL?
Dreams, yeah. And hopes.
Yeah.
And, at a young age, junior high and then high school, I started to realize, I think I'm pretty good at this. But again, I was small town Idaho, and it wasn't until I think my junior year I started getting phone calls from people like Bill Walsh at Stanford and Lavelle Edwards at BYU, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I might be pretty good at this thing. I might make it to play college. And of course the dream is the NFL, but when I started getting those calls and getting heavily recruited, it started to get real for me. So
wow,
it was.
Yeah, I can imagine
really
how
amazing.
exciting that had to have felt. Like, man, I'm getting some calls from some big schools here.
I mean, Bill Walsh,
right?
I grew up a huge 49ers fan, obviously with Steve Young and that connection, but it's Bill Walsh.
Right.
I mean, you could argue one of the greatest football coaches of all time, and he's made this transition to college and Stanford, and I was like, okay, wait, I can go to Stanford, first of all.
Yeah.
I can play for Bill Walsh. And so
that's amazing.
A lot of people don't know this story. I committed to them on my trip. I shook his hands. I said, Coach, if you guys were going to offer me a scholarship, when do you think that would be? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he said, I think he assumed I knew. He said, well, how about right now? And I said, I'm coming to Stanford.
Really?
And then Lavelle had something to say about that, and he swung me the other way. But, yeah, I was fully on board with Stanford. And
wow. So if you don't mind me asking, what flipped you from going from that to you ended up playing at BYU?
Well, my mom is from Spanish Fork.
Okay.
So that was part of it. So mom had some influence. And then, the chance, and Lavelle too. Lavelle came out to the house, and it was interesting because it was a big deal in Nampa. We had news crews at my house. It was,
wow.
And so Lavelle came and visited, and it's hard to say no to Lavelle. I don't know if
well, we could also argue that he's one of the best coaches of all time. I mean,
and maybe one of the best humans to ever walk the face of the earth.
Right.
So he had a big impact on my life, but.
So just sitting down with him and seeing his goodness and feeling it, you're like, man, this is where I need to be.
Yeah, him and, we had I was a running back. I was getting recruited as a running back.
Really?
Yeah, I was a freshman. My freshman year at BYU, I started at fullback.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And Lance Reynolds was the running back coach, and we were really close, and he was instrumental in me getting there too. So
gotcha.
It was a team effort, but yeah.
So when did it transition? Because you ended up playing linebacker.
So I'm the
running back to linebacker.
I'm a freshman at BYU, and I'm playing on a lot of special teams, and I'm playing some fullback and some kind of off tight end blocking and getting lots of playing time. And then our defense was struggling a lot. They had come to me several times about switching to linebacker, and I was super resistant. I was like,
really?
I'm a running back. I want to be a running back.
Yeah.
And one day, Lavelle came. I was playing running back. He cruised up on his little golf cart, and he motioned me inside. And immediately I thought, "Oh, what have I done to get in trouble? What have I?"
Yeah.
And I sat down, and he just turned to me and he said, "Rob," he said, "if you play running back, you can be a good college running back, but if you move to linebacker, you'll play on Sundays." And that was my last practice ever at running back. The next day, I was a linebacker.
You're sold.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
Wow.
He was they had kind of given me the choice before, and I was resistant, but he was very matter of fact about you can play running back, but your future is a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to hear. I trusted him.
So, I mean, coming from a guy, I played a couple seasons of football when I was a little kid. That was about it. Seeing someone like you playing linebacker, again, my perspective, you were just this animal out there, you were like a Dick Butkus who wasn't afraid to just get dirty and hit people. And I'm just curious, how did you know this is my position, and you felt like you've played with no fear?
Yeah, I did too. Until I got to the NFL and realized, wow, there's a whole bunch of me's out here that are really good. But I think some of that, in some ways, Todd, it was a bit of a mask that you put on.
Yeah.
And you kind of create this persona, and it worked for a long time. And I did like those old school guys. I did appreciate that sort of rough and tumble. And quite frankly, that's how I was taught.
Yeah.
By my,
by your dad.
Yeah, it wasn't, there was no, we weren't taking it easy on each other. We always had access to all the equipment. So other kids are playing flag football. We're full gear all year, me and my brothers and friends. And so that's just how I learned to do it. And I just loved the game too.
Yeah.
It's that was one of the big changes in the NFL. The BYU was just, for me, I was just having fun.
Yeah. You were fun to watch.
Yeah,
I'm just going to be honest with you. It was so much fun to watch. And I'm actually kind of blown away that you're sitting here with me right now, to be honest. And I know you don't see it that way.
I don't want to break your bubble, but I'm not so great.
Well, you are. Well, you make it to the NFL, and talk about how did that feel when you're playing on Sundays now all of a sudden.
It was pretty epic. I mean, to hear your name called by the commissioner, and I was drafted pretty high, and then to come to a team with Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and Edgar James and these, and you walk in the door and you've sort of been the alpha dog your whole life, and then you look around and you're like, oh, this is there's not like big fish small pond. It's just a shark tank full of sharks.
Wow.
And so it's sort of eat or be eaten.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And then I blew my knee out early in my rookie year, and that really set me back a lot. And that was a tough. I ripped my quad right off my knee. It was a pretty tough injury, and I questioned about whether or not I was gonna be the same player again.
Sure.
So it was a tough transition for me.
So how did you talk about that? Because I think, again, you're really passionate about resilience. I mean, talk about a challenge here, right? You rip your quad right off your knee there or whatever. How did you navigate that?
Yeah, well, lots of physical therapy, lots of rehab. I got married kind of right during the middle of my rehab, and I came back the next year, again a little uncertain, but played well and led the team in tackles my second year.
And this is after the injury.
This is after the injury.
That's amazing that you were ready to go the next year.
Yeah, I was surprised. It was challenging too. The knee was never really the same, but you sort of, you're getting paid a significant amount of money to be out there, and so the patience level is low.
Yeah.
Especially with back then there was no guaranteed contract, so they were even less patient with you.
Oh, wow. So you had to be out there on the field performing.
So I had to get back, and that kind of marked what would be a really roller coaster up and down. That was the start of a really interesting career arc for me. Right.
So, I don't know if people know exactly what you're doing now. We'll get into that here in a minute, but you've been through a lot of health issues, even sometimes just dealing with your own mental toughness at times, like, right, kind of fluctuating and all that. Do you mind sharing with our listeners kind of that road that you were going down?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just give you the whole story.
Please.
Starting from that rookie.
No, that's what I want.
I came back from that, and I started for the next several years and got to my free agent year and found myself without a contract. So came back as a backup special teams player on just a 1-year deal. And then in my 7th year, we had played in a game where we just got the drums beat off us. And then the following Wednesday, I went in and talked to my linebackers coach, and he said, we're going to tweak this defense, we'll tweak this little couple plays, and we're going to move you from backup middle linebacker to strong side linebacker. And I thought, this is cool. I'll get a few more plays. And the more we talked, the more I realized, wait a minute, they're like moving me to starting outside linebacker. So this is Wednesday. We have a Monday night football game against the Bengals. So I have
no way.
4 working days to learn a position I've never played in my life. So I played well. We went on this epic playoff run, won the Super Bowl, I got a new 3-year contract extension, and then came back the following year, and in the 4th game blew my knee out, got carted off the field, and never made it back. That was the end of my career. So I had, in that 7th year, along with all those ups, my wife at the time and I had also lost a set of triplets. So we were sort of, it was a really all over the place, but my career was kind of in the tank, and then it just exploded back in I was at the pinnacle of my career, new contract, Super Bowl, and then it all went away just in the snap of my fingers.
Oh my goodness.
And from then on out, it was a real struggle. Within a year and a half, I was in uni. It's now called the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, but it was the University Neuropsych, and I was deeply addicted and depressed and anxious. And I think I was 6 days in the hospital and then in an inpatient treatment facility for 30 days. And I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was. I had been driving on the freeway in a Lamborghini 100 miles an hour much of my life, and then now I'm on the off-ramp in a Pinto going 20 miles an hour, and I still have 3,000 miles to go on the journey. And
Jeez.
I kind of fell apart. My marriage fell apart not long after that.
My goodness.
And then, the health issues started to pop up a lot. You referenced those, but, so we were originally scheduled to do this podcast like a year ago.
Yeah,
but I had a hamstring surgery.
That's right.
Which had been preceded by a double bypass open heart surgery, which had been preceded by shoulder and back. I had these 4 surgeries within a 15-month period.
Dang.
That was just less than a year ago. So that's when people kept saying, you're so resilient and you've battled through this addiction and multiple treatments and your divorce and the loss of the triplets and the career ending and this health. But I didn't feel resilient. I felt crazy.
Yeah.
And I felt completely broken. And so that's how I started to get interested in this, like, what does that mean to be resilient? And I started to find that it's not, survival is part of it. Survival is like resilience 1.0.
Yeah.
But it's the ability to adapt in a positive way and to learn from your struggles and to grow. That's sort of what I kind of call resilience 2.0.
Yeah. Kind of like your mom.
A lot like my mom. Yeah.
Wow.
You survive and then you start to get to the point where you adapt. And so that's been
wow, Rob,
a process for me. And in no means have I figured it out, but I'm real curious about what kind of tools I can add to my life to help me.
Well, I can't, it's always fascinating to me how it was one play that changed the course of your entire life.
Yeah.
Right. And here you are, like you said, you were going on the ups. You just signed a 3-year contract, Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking, man, life is fantastic right now.
It was literally the high point of my life.
Yeah. And I would imagine what I'm hearing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's been a battle ever since, even to this day. Is that fair?
100%. You've seen bits and pieces of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I've made a lot of progress, but one thing that you learn to do, if you get to that level of success, you are somebody who's pretty hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And who beat yourself up a lot. And that's been a continuous challenge for me, is to be like, dude, you're doing good. Like, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Every little setback feels like a failure. And so,
well, I just think the trauma you go through in your body, having 4 major surgeries in a year, or, just back to back to back, basically, and especially the open heart surgery.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, right. And so I can only imagine how long it may take a body and even your mind and your mindset, I guess, to recover from something like that.
Yeah, and we are not patient people, high achievers,
Right.
And I've struggled to find to climb the second mountain in my life. I've struggled to find the second career. I've done some things that I really loved, but I feel like I'm in a cool place now where the slate is kind of clean, and there's things I'm interested in, and I've been doing some more public speaking, which to me feels a little bit like being out there in front of 100,000 people. Like I like sharing my experiences. And
well, I think the last time we had chatted, you were on your way to a speaking event that you were going to do, and you texted me after and said, "Dude, I'm on fire, man. This is it." Right?
Well, I had spoken. I had worked at this kind of global cosmetics company, and that afforded me the opportunity to travel all over the world to speak. And I never got nervous. I always loved it. Fast forward, it's been several years. And I was freaking out at this thing. I was thinking, I'm going to get on that stage and have a panic attack, and I'm going to have to give back the money they paid me to do that. Like, I'm thinking, okay, I got to transfer some into my checking account. I got to write these guys a check at the end of the night. But they called my name, and I walked up, and the second I sat on that stage, something clicked in me, and I really felt alive for the first time in a long time.
Wow.
The traumatic brain injury stuff is real, and it can mute a lot of emotions, and it's hard to find those rushes that you look for.
Right.
Which I think is why you see a lot of high achieving people who career come to an end quickly fall into addiction. They don't have other coping mechanisms.
Right. Yeah, I see it a lot here. What I do here with my clients and even my outside clients. And, let's talk about that for a minute, because you mentioned earlier on that you felt like you lost your identity.
Yeah.
Because your identity was, I'm a football player. That's who I am, period. Hey, who are you, Rob? You would be like, I'm a football player, right?
Yeah.
So that goes away. And if all your eggs were into that, so let's talk about that. How have you navigated that? Because I'd love to hear what you think your identity is now.
Oh boy.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
I needed some prep for that question.
I'm sorry.
That was a trick question. It was tough because, it's all you've ever done. And it's all that other people know you for. And so, when I go to an event, I'm Rob Morris, sometimes Rob Freight Train Morris, but it's always linebacker, BYU Super Bowl champ. And I like that. I enjoy talking about it.
Sure.
But it can reinforce the notion that that's all you're good at.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's kept me going, really helped me adapt, is that I'm pretty curious. I really like to learn.
I like that.
And so I got into the kind of health and wellness, and I had a little gym, and then I created the wellness center for this cosmetics company. It's a local one called Unique, and worked with them and really close with the owner of that company. And that transitioned into doing some kind of HR stuff and public speaking. And then I spent 2 years working on my master's in mental health counseling. And then I had all those surgeries, so I never finished.
Wow.
But I'm just interested in things, and I'm curious, and probably severely ADD as well on top of that, because I'm a really good starter at things, but then I get interested in something else and bounce around. So I think I'm trying to. You asked where I'm at with the identity. I don't know that I know what it is now, but I'm trying to lean more on sort of my core principles, which I think are curiosity, momentum, and resilience. If I'm staying curious, and if I'm moving in some direction, and I stay resilient, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's been huge chunks of my time where I've not been moving toward anything. So I think that's how I guess that's what I would define myself right now, because I don't really have the second career yet. And so anybody out there has any ideas,
well, I got a few ideas. Can we talk about them?
Yeah.
I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the Beliefcast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap and Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode. So, I deal with this a lot with my clients. I'll always ask, who are you? And they can't answer it.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because we don't normally ask that about people. Yeah. We always ask, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah.
We never, or that kind of thing. We never say, answer the question, who you really are, kind of thing. And so I always go back to when we were learning to walk. Think of a baby learning to walk, right? Yeah. So when a baby learning to walk, if we were to watch it from a distance, watch it fall down, what does it do? It gets back up. Yeah. And then it falls down, gets back up, right? And we watch it over and over again, okay? if we were to describe the characteristics of a baby learning to walk, what would we say? And you already said one of them. We'd say that baby's resilient. Yeah. We'd say that baby has the will to never give up. We'd say that baby has discipline. We'd say that baby has courage. We'd also say that baby has the ability to forgive themselves instantly. Yeah. So when they fall down, they don't go, I suck, I'm no good, I can't walk. They don't do that. Yeah. But then you have to ask yourself, where did they get those? And the answer points right back to they were born with them. Because I can't tell my baby, hey, forgive yourself instantly. It just does it. Yeah. I don't have to say it. It wouldn't even understand what I was saying. Yeah. So it's in their DNA. So when you say you're resilient right now, even if that's all you want to hold on to right now, that's my identity. Yeah. Heck yeah, that's 100% correct. Because I'll tell you this, you're not a football player and you never were. Who you were made you a good football player. Football is just what you did. Yeah. Who you are made you really good at football. Because then you throw in, because Rob has the will to never give up. He's resilient. He's brave. He's tenacious. He's love. He's light. He is energy. He is forgiving. He's passionate. Right? And the list goes on. So in those moments when you're feeling lost, what do you say? Who am I? That's where you got to be curious. Answer the question then. When you're alone and no one's around, boom. I'll tell you, that has been a game changer in my life. Because I didn't play on the level nowhere close to what you did. I played basketball, lost a basketball scholarship because of my addiction. Same thing. I lost my identity, and I'd rather just not be here. And thankfully, I had mentors in my life who taught me who I really was. I wasn't a basketball player. That's just what I did. Who I was made me good at basketball. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a good way to define, I think, who you are.
Yeah. Because I would look at you and say, yeah, you are resilient. And when you say that, I'm like, amen to that. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's why you're also passionate about it, because it rings in your soul, right?
Well, and I'm learning too, Todd, is that resilience 2.0, as I kind of like to call it. That's it's more about skill power than it is willpower. Yeah. In survival mode, it's you're willing yourself to do things, hyper independence, and in resilience 2.0 and adapting, you're developing skills. And so that's been fun for me to learn those skills and to share kind of some of the building blocks of resilience that I'm learning. It's been interesting.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thanks for letting me share that. I hope that was all right. Yeah, and thanks for your insight as well,
Rob. Any chance I get to get a Todd pep talk, I'll take it.
Okay. I love it. Let's talk about this. You went to this 5-day program. Because I think this is a big part of your story. Yeah. And you said you're curious. You love to learn. And so you go to this 5-day program. Will you tell our listeners what that was all about?
Yeah, I just actually got back last night. I was having lunch with a friend and he brought up this program retreat thing with military guys and I thought, I'll look into it. He said, you should go check it out. I heard it's great. So I got connected with a guy and I'm talking. And then my buddy, John Tate, who also played at BYU, totally independent of that, called me that same night and said, hey,
really?
I know this guy and he's doing this program. You should check it out. It'd be interesting. I think I'm going to go. And I was like, okay, this is coming at me from multiple areas. Yeah. So I went, and it's Donnie Edwards, who played in the NFL for a long time, started this program called the Best Defense Foundation. And they would take World War II vets back to Normandy, and they have another program where they bring out special operators. So the guys I was with were Green Berets and Navy SEALs. I mean, these guys are sort of the tip of the spear, the best of the best.
Right, yeah.
And there's a big ranch down, the name of the ranch slips me right now, but it's down kind of near the Price Helper area. Yeah. And I just went down there. I didn't really know what I was getting into or what the whole thing was. Yeah. It was kind of a last minute thing. Yeah. But you get some NFL guys. I think there's 5-6 NFL guys and maybe 10 or 12 of these special ops guys interacting, learning skills. There's doctors that come in and talk about traumatic brain injury, and we got to go and shoot some sniper rifles and drive Caterpillars, and we did hikes together. And there was times where we would just gather around the fire at night and talk about our experience transitioning out of our sport. And after 3 or 4 days, you start to realize that even though, I would never compare what I did to what those guys do. Those guys are putting their life on the line for the country. But the transition, the quick loss oftentimes of your brotherhood, your team, the similarities with the commonality of traumatic brain injury, which is very common in both operators and NFL guys. And just that loss of identity too. You start to realize pretty quickly that, okay, these guys understand what I've gone through, and I think to some small extent I can understand it. And that mesh, and a lot of the special operator guys would say the same thing, like, why are these NFL guys here with us? And I was thinking, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I have to contribute.
Right.
Like, you guys are the real deal.
Yeah.
But there's a mutual respect and a mutual realization that transition out of either the special forces or the NFL, it's very similar. The feelings, the trauma that your body goes through is very similar. And I think, I'm not a doctor, but my understanding is that the way sometimes your body stores trauma, it doesn't know that if it's a war or a football game. And so it was, I don't know it was a very powerful experience for me too. Yeah. And I have a new respect for the people that serve in our military too. I was blown away by the resilience that these guys have.
Boy, I bet. Talk about, you guys at the end of the day would sit around and talk and just get vulnerable. It sounds like
100%.
How was that?
It was wild. It was wild because you don't want to say anything, because I'm sitting there thinking, okay, look, I've had some tough stuff. These guys are getting shot at, and their job is in some respects to kill the bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't realize the toll that can take on them. And these chats were, and the guys that were running the program kept telling us, no, share your experience. It's helpful for them. Talk about the transition out of the NFL. Talk about your injuries. Talk about the addiction struggles. And as we would get vulnerable, these guys would start to talk about experiences that, quite frankly, a lot of them had never spoken about since they had gotten out of the military. It was so difficult and so traumatic. And in 4 or 5 days, you bond with these guys in a way that it brings back that sense of brotherhood. For me, it felt like I was back with a team. Yeah. And I think that was the feeling of them too. It's like, we feel like we have a brotherhood. Wow. And some of them have done what I had done, which is you shut down your life and you sit in a dark room, abusing substances. And that was a part of my life for a while. And not knowing, who can understand me, who can I talk to. And the interaction with these guys was wild, because I think we really understood each other. I want to keep emphasizing, I will never understand what it's like to go to war.
Right.
But I do understand what it's like to lose your purpose overnight, to lose a team and a brotherhood overnight, to have an injury that ends your career, changes your life quickly. And so that was pretty powerful, pretty awesome. I'm one of the guys was going to get us out to one of the special warfare schools to do a one-day obstacle course and have that experience. I'm fired up about that. So
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be,
that'll be great.
It was a great experience.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that, Rob. I appreciate it. And there's so much power in vulnerability, right? Yeah. The amount of vulnerability we are willing to express will be equal to the amount of happiness we experience in life. Yeah. So vulnerability goes up, happiness goes up. Vulnerability goes down, happiness goes down. And so it's cool that you guys got together and shared some things that, like you said, no one talks about. Yeah. And for you guys to be able to bond as a brotherhood, that's really cool. Yeah.
And it can be scary, and it's hard to admit to a bunch of other, heavily bearded, big guys,
tough dudes,
tough guys, to talk about your feelings. And I think that's a reason why I enjoy the public speaking, because it gives me a chance to give a voice to my fears and my experience, and to say, guys, to post on Instagram is terrifying for me. To put myself out there is terrifying. I would much rather go get the crap kicked out of me by an offensive lineman all day than to have to admit that I struggle a lot sometimes. You know, and you know, I'm learning that struggle and those dark times, that's a feature of life. That's not a bug. That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be part of the human species, like, get ready to get the crap kicked out of you a bunch.
Right.
And that's what I like about, that's why I'm super interested in resilience. It makes me feel empathy toward myself to say,
oh, I love that.
Dude, things aren't so great right now, and but you're here.
Yeah.
And you know, you've been through a lot of things that not everyone could always go through. So
wow,
it's been interesting.
I love that. You know, one of the things I tell my clients, you know, addiction, adversity is the wake up call to your greatness. Yeah. And I see this, it's waking you up. Yeah. You took a dip. So. Well, I think it is. I mean, based on what,
I feel like I'm about to break through, you know.
Well, let's talk about that, because now you've got this coaching and speaking, and why don't you share with our listeners what that's about?
Yeah, you know, I had worked on my master's in mental health counseling, and I got all the way to the clinical work, and I was seeing clients, and some of the clinical elements I didn't love. You know, there's some insurance stuff. There's a lot of things that make it different. And
totally.
When I was working at the cosmetics company, I was in charge of, you know, corporate wellness and culture and community, and I loved the community piece.
Yeah.
And so I've just, after I had these surgeries, I was doing some coaching with a handful of clients, and I have a couple now. But I didn't really know what to do, and so I had help building a little website, and fired up my Instagram, which has been tough, which, by the way, you can follow me, Rob Morris 2.0. It's kind of along the resilience 2.0.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Put that in there. But, you know, for me, like I said, one of my core values is momentum and movement. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's as much about maintaining movement in my life as it is. I don't know if this is, quite frankly, don't know if this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
Right.
But it's gotten me into positions to meet cool people, to do some fun podcasts, to interact with you. And, you know, I have some super supportive guys in my corner that I reach out to, and I'm like, hey, who can you connect me with? And you were one of the guys that they connected me with. And so for me, it's awesome. About keeping some momentum and, you know, but I enjoy the group stuff, the corporate workshops. And I really love speaking engagement. So another plug for myself. If you need someone to come speak at your convention, give me a buzz.
Give him a buzz. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, momentum creates more momentum. I love that. More movement creates more movement. Energy begets more energy, right? You know, it's funny, Rob, and you're going to laugh at this, but if you could see you in the way we see you, and seriously, like, and we're all guilty of this. You know, there's times where I'm beating myself up, and then I'll have someone say, Todd, what's your problem? What's going on? Yeah. Like, a lot of times my wife will call me out. Yeah. What's going on? You know, I'm like, oh, this and that. And I feel like this, you know, I'm this hopeless person for a minute, you know, and she's like, no, you're not. But, you know, I just want you to know, I see greatness when I see you, my friend. I really do. I don't say that lightly. And it's not because you're an amazing football player, which you were. It's more of, I do see you being resilient. Because like you said, you're here. And I know you're fighting, because we've talked a lot, and I know you're fighting through to change. So I just want you to know, I see greatness when I look at Rob.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm opening my eyes to that potential too. And it's challenging. I bet you a ton of the people that are listening right now are feeling the same way. They hear the signals, and they see the signals from other people about their greatness, but it's really hard to let it sink in and to let it absorb. And then if you throw in, if you've been alive long enough, and if you've been alive and struggled with addiction long enough, there's some dark stuff that you don't necessarily, and that creates, you know, you don't want to talk about, or you don't quite frankly want people to find out about.
Right.
And that creates a sense of imposter syndrome. And but you realize, like, wait, this is not just me that's dropping the ball. This is everybody that's dropping the ball. And so I'm trying to lean into fear, and it's tough sometimes.
Oh, I love that. Well, I want to ask you if there's someone listening to you right now, Rob, they've tuned into this and they are in a dark place and they're really struggling. What would you tell that person right now?
Take action. Take some kind of action. And I think a big problem is there's so much information. There's so much out there in the world about hacks and take these supplements and do these workouts and do this and do that and I will tell you, you know which one works? The one you do. Pick something.
Love that.
Go do it, and you will feel better. It's like
love
me.
that.
I love to hike. I love to walk. And those are simple tools that I can use that will snap me out of things real quick.
Yeah.
Get out of your house.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. Whatever the action is, do it.
Yeah.
You know, in the recovery circles, you hear a lot about contrary action. Look at what you've been doing and do the opposite thing. But go do something. And, you know, I think that's one of the 4 key components of building confidence is to take action. So I think that's the stage that I'm in right now is like, I don't look in the mirror and see greatness, but I'm taking action to take steps toward that.
Towards that, yeah.
And I recognize there's the potential in there.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice is do something and then cut yourself some slack. You know, you don't need to do all the life hacks right now, but, you know, it's brick by brick.
Yeah. Love that.
So that's what I would say.
Okay. Well said, and amen to that. That was powerful.
And I think I probably need to get that little clip and play that back to myself when I get down. Because you get down in that dark spot. I get down in that dark spot. And action is the hardest thing to do. It's the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah, because in those moments, that's the last thing you want to do. Right? You don't. I don't even want to move. You know, and studies now show that working out is the most effective way to overcome depression.
100%.
And like you said, it doesn't have to be like this crazy workout. Go for a walk. Go for a hike. Walk around the block.
I haven't done a hard, you know, some of it's because of all these surgeries, but I haven't done a really hard workout. I do some tough hikes and some tough.
Right.
And that's an interesting thing. I think one of the building blocks of resilience is this notion of intentionally exposing yourself to challenges.
Yes.
But you can't just go out and attack the most difficult things. There's got to be some elements, right? It's got to be short-term and manageable. It's got to be something that promotes self-efficacy, which is the idea or the feeling that I can do this.
Yeah.
I have the ability to do this. And it's got to be linked to purpose and meaning.
Love that.
And sometimes we go out and just beat ourselves up and it doesn't have those components. So I'm learning like, okay, I need to have some intentional exposure to challenges, but I need something that I know I can have some success at. I can't just go out. I think we go so hard and then we fail again, and it reinforces the notion that we're failures. So expose yourself to challenges, but think about, do something fun. I started doing classes. I took a improv comedy acting class. You want to talk about terrifying.
Dude, right.
Getting up in front of a bunch of people and just bombing over and over and just being going, okay, I'm going to go again. And then I took a blacksmithing class, which taught me about this very idea of you're exposing the metal to heat, but not too long, not too short. So little things like that. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think that would be one of the hardest jobs, is trying to make a crowd laugh for an hour.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you might be able to get one laugh maybe.
Yeah,
that's
that's about how many I got during the course of the 10 weeks I was there doing
it. I would have loved to have seen that. Wow. That's I couldn't agree more, Rob. If people want to reach out to you, Rob, and they want to get to know more about you and your coaching and speaking, and they're looking for a speaker, what's the best way for them to reach out to you and connect with you?
Yeah, well, I have a little website called robmorriscoaching.com. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't have very many followers, so I'm trying to build that up. Rob Morris 2.0.
Nice.
Or just shoot me an email, rob@robmorriscoaching.com. And I'm an open book and love to share information about me. And I'm like a lot of people. I'm just I'm climbing that second mountain, and I'm trying to embrace it.
Wow.
So,
well, I admire you so much, Rob, and I am so blessed and honored to have you sitting here in front of me right now. I mean that with all my heart. To be able to like rub shoulders with you right now and a little bit in the past as well. It's been so cool. And I appreciate you trusting me enough too. And thanks for being vulnerable today on the show. I think your vulnerability is what's really going to really resonate with my listeners. And so thank you for being you.
The feeling's mutual. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and it's
finally got here.
We finally got it. I finally got my act together enough to be able to sit down for an hour. And but I put a lot of value on you, and it's been great to become friends. And so
thank you.
It's been good for me.
That means a lot. Well, I encourage anyone listening to this as well. If you're struggling, please reach out to Rob. I mean, he's the man. I mean, he will understand what you're going through. So please reach out to him. If you have a loved one or a son or a daughter who's in a dark spot and you don't know how to break the ice, send them a link to this episode. Let them listen to this. It will break the ice, and then follow up with some questions. Be curious, as Rob says, and then maybe they'll reach out, and maybe we can get you lined up with Rob and get some of his coaching. So please do that. And Rob, again, just one last thank you for your time today. I know you got a lot going on. You just got back barely from that 5-day program, and sounds like that was amazing. Yeah. But thank you for taking some time and being here with us today.
Absolutely. I've loved every minute. It's been great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You betcha. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, thanks to my sponsors. I appreciate all your support. It means the world to me. I love you guys. I can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful to be in a position right now to have amazing people like Rob on the show. Sometimes I just pinch myself. Can't believe it, but love you guys. Until next time, take care.